right, thank you, everyone. Is this on? I can't really tell. I guess so. Gotta get really close, maybe. Welcome to the Westside City Council of Governments meeting on Thursday, the 12th. It is now 12:07. Welcome to Santa Monica. It's been a while. I will now call this meeting to order at 12:07 p.m. We'll start with a round of introductions and identify today's voting members. We could go clockwise from over there. Over in this corner.
First, it's gonna be Austin.
Okay.
Well,
Here?
Here, please. Chelsea Richard, Aaron Cruz, we're supporting on behalf of the city.
Lee Fox Robbins, LA Metro.
Natalie Villanich, Health Manager with CSN.
Jason Krieger, Chief Planning Officer, Santa Monica.
Austin Sear, alternate for Supervisor Lindsay Borba, voting.
Shelley Wolford, assistant to the city manager for Culver City staff.
Dan O'Brien, Mayor of Culver City, alternate, and I might be voting today.
Manny James, Senior Management Analyst, City of Beverly Hills, non-voting member.
Chelsea Byers, Mayor, City of West Hollywood, voting member.
Josh Gerkes, Council Office Legislative Affairs, Liaison in the City of Santa Monica, not vote.
There we go. Jesse Swick, council member, City of Santa Monica, voting member.
Tina Solano, Executive Director, Westside Cities Council of Government.
Lauren Langer, counsel for the COG.
I have the mic, please.
And Mayor, you just doing introduction?
Yeah, we're just introducing.
Good morning, or good afternoon. Sharon Nazarian, Mayor for the City of Beverly Hills, voting member. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Riley O'Brien, Westside Cities COG, first meeting as new project director. And want to mention, we have limited mics. We do have mics in the room, but they're a little quieter than the actual mics. So if we could try to pass these around when possible, that would be ideal.
Hello, good afternoon. Anna Colas Flores with the Westside City COG.
I'm going to do a mic check. Peter Mary, can you hear me?
Yes.
That's good. Okay, excellent.
Do we do anyone on Zoom? Do we move on?
Yeah, is there anyone on Zoom? Peter?
Yes, we have a few attendees.
Can you call on them?
Sure, Jeff Cow.
Hi everyone, Jeff Cow, Office of Councilwoman Tracy Park, non-voting.
We also have Jarrett Thompson as well. We'll allow you to talk.
Jared Thompson, Council District 5, City of Los Angeles.
And we have a few other, I'm not sure if we have voting members here. Would you like me to still call on them?
Yes.
Yes.
We have Keith Nakata.
Yes, hi, Keith Nakata with the Asterisk Alliance stakeholder.
We have Christoph.
Hi, everyone. Christoph LaBelle, just interested community member tuning in. Thank you.
Jeremy Bocino.
Recording in progress.
Okay, nothing from Jeremy. Kay Hartman.
Yeah, Kay Hartman, president of the Palms Neighborhood Council.
Tana Allen.
Hi, I'm just a community member. Thank you.
And then one call-in user with no name.
Okay, thank you. We have a fairly packed agenda, so we'll jump right into it. The first item is the approval of the April 10 board meeting notes. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Thank you. Moved by West Hollywood, seconded by Beverly Hills. Can we do a roll call vote?
Beverly Hills.
Yes.
Culver City.
Yes.
West Hollywood.
Yes.
Santa Monica.
Yes.
County of Los Angeles.
Yes.
City of Los Angeles. All right, motion is approved.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item 3B. I'm going to hand this over to staff to present on the annual work plan for this upcoming fiscal year.
Thank you very much. Folks, you'll note in our staff report that our work plan looks a lot like previous work plans. We are focusing on our strategic initiatives in transportation, housing, and homelessness, as well as behavioral health. The main difference is, the good news is that we're administering more grant money. There's additional grant monies flowing in, some new programs. For transportation, we're going to continue doing our Measure M active transportation MSP, and Farron Pierce is going to talk a little bit about that later on. We're also going to be hiring a consultant to help us design bus infrastructure, and you're going to hear that later in this meeting. In housing, we're going to continue to use our SCAG REAP 2.0 funds to hire a consultant, and you're going to hear a little bit more about that. And we're going to be managing Measure A funds through La Casa, which is a new vehicle. And then in homelessness, we're going to be continuing managing Measure H funds, but we will also manage Measure A local solutions funds and hire a consultant to dig deeper into behavioral health needs, which we hope will really advance that initiative this year. And in your packet, there's a whole, we included the strategic plan for addressing homelessness as a sub-region, and you can go into greater detail about where we are with that. So that is our work plan for the year. So we recommend approval of the work plan.
All right, are we taking
So we can take, items,
separately or together?
we can take items 3A, B, and C together. 3B, 1, 2, yeah.
Okay, so then
So we can continue on and talk about the rest of them.
So the second item on item 3B is the annual renewal of the Estelano Advisors contract for executive director services. Estelano Advisors has served in this role since March 2014, and we annually renew their contract every year. So what's before you today is a 1-year extension to the contract, no change in the rates. And Cecilia just went over the work plan of what they'll be doing over the next year. So that's the second item in the agenda that's recommended for approval.
Great, and item 3.
Item 3 is the determination of dues and annual budget. If you'll recall, last year we increased the annual dues. They remained the same, so there's no need to have a special motion to increase the dues, to change the dues, and our annual budget. Our contract services are remaining the same. And again, the difference in the budget is the increase in grant money that we'll be administering. So that's why it's increased. But that, and due to staff transitions, we will also be having a little bit of an increase in our travel budget. And because this is where we are in our economy, we need to increase our budget for food and for printing. So those are the only modest increases that we have. Happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, at this point, I think on any of those 3 items, do we have questions from the board? Seeing none, do we have any public comment?
Peter, do you see any public comment?
I do not.
Okay. Moved by Beverly Hills, seconded by West Hollywood. Can we do a roll call vote?
Yes. Beverly Hills?
Yes.
Culver City? Yes. Santa Monica?
Yes.
West Hollywood?
Yes.
County of Los Angeles?
Yes.
City of Los Angeles is voting member is not present. Motion is approved.
All right. Now moving on to the exciting election of Westside COG board officers. I will hand this over to staff as well to present on the election for 25-26 and some particular peculiarities that we're going to try to overcome.
So typically we do a very simple nomination process and changeover in officers. Chair, vice chair, secretary, and the treasurer stays the same for 3 years at a time. Since the time we have been your executive director since 2014, all 3 of the 4 cities, smaller cities, have all served as treasurer. And because of the peculiarities of the pandemic, Santa Monica has never served as the treasurer. So if you'll look in the staff report, West Hollywood served as treasurer from 2014 to 2017. Beverly Hills was treasurer from 2017 to 2020. Stayed on for a couple of extra years to help us get through the pandemic. And then Culver City has been treasurer from 2022 until now. Our bylaws have a really peculiar feature. They note that the treasurer takes over, a new treasurer takes over when the old treasurer's term is ended, and the new treasurer must be from the same city as the chair of the board. Since there's generally been interest in having, and this is among all of the staff members, we've discussed this, have Santa Monica step up and play the role of treasurer. We have to deal with that peculiarity in our bylaws. While all the terms of every other position are specified to start on July 1st and on June 30th, not true of the treasurer. So our workaround for this is that we suggest that the existing treasurer, which is Culver City's, and term could end today. And then that would make it possible to elect a treasurer from the existing chair's city, which would be Santa Monica today. That treasurer would serve for 3 years. And then the rest of the elections could move forward. The chair would change on July 1st, the vice chair would change on July 1st, and the secretary would change on July 1st. But the treasurer would be Santa Monica, and at the time the treasurer was elected, would be from the same city as the chair of the board, Santa Monica. So that is our elegant solution to the peculiarities of your bylaws, so that we need not go back to all of your cities and the Board of Supervisors to amend these documents. And Lauren, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that was a great explanation. I think there's just a peculiar situation that it hasn't been spread out equitably who serves as treasurer, and with COVID and with Beverly Hills serving an extra 2 years, I think the cycle is exceptionally off track. And so this would be a way to provide an equitable share of the role of treasurer to all the cities.
I'll just note that it's my understanding that this is not a power grab by the city of Santa Monica, but rather taking one for the team and assuming this role as treasurer.
Do you foresee a moment in time where there will be alignment again, or will we have to keep dealing with peculiarity every 3 years as a treasurer will come up?
We should be okay moving forward.
Okay.
I believe we're okay moving forward, but if I'm wrong, no, we'll deal with it. Yeah, we should be fine as long as we continue to do the every 3 years turnover. Yeah.
So does anyone have, I guess,
Mayor.
Thank you. So I understand we're trying to realign, and I understand that it's a 3-year term in the bylaws. Is there a way to change the bylaws so that that also is a position that is rotated annually? And I guess that would be the most equitable moving forward.
So none of us were here when the COG was formed, but our understanding is the treasurer's role is it is really about taking one for the team. Each city does it for 3 years because the transitioning it every year is administratively challenging. So folks felt, it's my understanding, that have continuity for 3 years with the same treasurer signing checks, looking at our audited statements, all of that made a lot of sense rather than having turnover every year. That is, as our understanding, the logic to how the bylaws were written. Now, of course, you can always change your bylaws. I believe we would need to have all cities adopt the change, and we think which also means we need to go to the Board of Supervisors. And the city of Los Angeles. And it's an effort. So this was our way of trying to solve this. So it's just,
Trying to get some.
okay.
Are there any other questions?
Thanks for taking on.
Not being personally like staff. Hearing no more questions. Yes. No, please.
Looking back one more time. I understand that right now it's busy and it may be a challenging issue for this particular election, but I would like to perhaps visit the process of making this an annual, especially if it's staff run, if it is something that would be annual for all of our cities to take a stab at each year.
And perhaps when you do that, you can get information from everyone who served as the treasurer to what the time commitment is. So you know what the onboarding is every time, but we don't have that information today to inform your decision, but if you look at it at a future date, you can get that information.
So hearing that, and let me take a stab here, and let me know if this sounds right. Lauren, I feel like I would love to make a motion that we rotate the, sorry, how would we say this related to the treasurer position?
So for the current action we're recommending.
Oh, is it right there?
That's right. So this is the action we're recommending is that we end the term of the current West Side City's COG treasurer, currently City Culver City, effective June 12th, 2025. To enable the city of Santa Monica to serve as West Side City's COG treasurer for a 3-year term, which will commence on June 13th, 2025 and expire on June 12th, 2028. We also recommend number 2, that we call for nominations for the position of chair, vice chair, and secretary. 3, that we close the nominations, and 4, call for the vote or declare the election by acclamation.
Thank you for reading that. I would just add, based on the comments from the Mayor of Beverly Hills, that we provide additional direction to city staff from all of our cities who serve on the COG to assess this matter, both in terms of the timing issue and whether we could align it going forward as suggested by Mayor Byers, and also as to the level of commitment and whether or not there would be a desire to rotate more frequently, or this is optimal for the various member cities involved, and to report back at a later date as to whether there would be any recommended bylaws changes that we should consider pursuing for next time.
So we have a motion.
Second.
Okay. By West Hollywood and a second by City of Beverly Hills.
Yes, can we have a roll call vote?
Beverly Hills,
Yes.
Culver City.
Yeah.
Santa Monica,
Yes.
West Hollywood,
Yes.
County of Los Angeles.
Yes.
City of Los Angeles is not really better. Motion is approved.
All right, is the next thing the group nominations?
Yes.
I would love to nominate Mayor Byers to be our next chair as per customary rotation.
Accepted for this group.
We need a second.
Second.
So it's Santa Monica, second by Beverly Hills.
Can we take all nominations for all now, or do you want to do?
Okay.
Great.
For vice chair? I'll nominate Sharon Mary and Mayor Beverly Hills.
There's a second.
Second.
Right, I'd like to nominate council member Yasmin. Sorry, I'm sure I pronounced it properly. As secretary.
Second. Are those all the rules?
No, one more.
Oh.
Also, nominate Jesse Smith. as chair.
City of Santa Monica as treasurer.
City of Santa.
Thank you.
I think it automatically
Yeah.
happens.
Okay, I guess, it wasn't quite clear from the earlier motion whether we already did that portion, but.
I just wanted to make sure.
I appreciate it. Again, not me though. Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, can we do a vote on all of those at once? Can we do it by acclamation? Yes. Any objections?
Okay.
Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Okay, congratulations, Mayor Myers and Mayor Zarian, and Councilmember McMorrin on your new roles. I look forward to supporting you as a regular member.
I'm sorry, you guys, to interrupt.
I know I came on briefly and late and I think I'm missing things. Do you guys need me on here for votes? Because I have to get back on another's emergency meeting thing. Can I miss this meeting or do you guys need me? Is it imperative that I'm on here?
No, thank you, Mayor Negretti. I'm here to take votes for the city of Santa Monica, so you should feel free to attend to the emergency.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. I apologize. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to item 3D, I believe. I'll hand this over to staff to present on the Measure on multi-year sub-regional program.
Great.
Side cities.
And then I'm going to pitch it over to our consultant Farron Pierce, who's been guiding us through this program.
Riley, you want to add some things?
I just want to give them the microphone.
Okay.
Thanks, Riley. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, chairs and members of the board. My name is Dong Lin. I'm of Ventures. I'm attending this meeting with my co-worker, Chelsea Richard. We are concerning from supporting the effort of Westside City's annual MSB update since 2021. Today I would like to present to you the full annual update. Next slide, please. So this is the outline of my presentation today. I will start with some MSP background and funding allocation, and then we will go through quickly on the MSP project list and all of its from 2024, and we set distribution this year and the time next step. Next slide, please. MSP Immediate Sub-Regional Program is a measuring program. Metro assistance program to funding available to jurisdictions. There are few steps in history that has helped the car get into a stage today. In 2015, Westside City's car competitive trace. This was a county approach initiated and approved by Metro Rail. The purpose of this matrix was to identify transportation improvements in each subregion. That was the starting point for Metro to update the transformation plan, and also a starting point for the car to identify subregion. In 2016, Westside's cars decided to use the funds to active transportation in last mile. This has defined the funding funding setting. The 2020 study set of projects and 1 year speed. Then and cycles of updates. Those updates include descriptions as well as consolidating projects. Next slide, please. So this is the table shows the funding allocations by fiscal year. As of today, the COG has received a total funding allocation close to $68 million. This allocation is distributed to 6 jurisdictions based on the service population, which is the sum of the population jobs. Next slide, please. This slide is still progress of progress in total, and the Washington is complete. 2 projects was added to the list in 2023 and 2024. Fabricating program project, which consolidated 2 previous projects in the original list. Next slide, please. Thank you. Santa Monica program 4 projects, City of Los Angeles program 5 projects, 1 of them was added last year, and Santa County development program projects. Next slide. So this table is showing the funding availability for 2025 update. As I previously mentioned, the total allocation amount on the second column is about $68 million. On the third column, that is the number that have been programmed to those projects. The total is about $36 million. With that, the subregion has a total of more than $20 million available. for the 2025 update. Next slide, please. So I would like to present to the MSP project list. Since February, Volunteers has been working with Riley, Peter from the COG, and transportation working group members from our jurisdictions on this effort. We have finalized all the decisions for the 6 jurisdictions. West Hollywood decided to keep their projects and financial plans as is. Constantly decided to add approximately 1.16 million to fiscal year 27-28 for the support team project. Next slide, please. That will be designed for project is the deep extension first last trade trunk service. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so just to release and the city. So exactly to projects and as is. This slide is silicon centers decided to study to pattern in the projects. So 6 to 7. Keep going. Okay, sorry about it. States the same. Slide, please. Okay. And here the funding side after the update. The different part shows the sign. Students decided to the comments. So the total show that we can comment the 16 so see. Next slide, please. Okay. We also size to improve it. Staff. So space less if you're interested in those details. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
And that unreadable slide is in your packet. It's just further detail on the specifics for the programs.
I assume the outstanding balance will be programmed in future years.
That's correct.
Sad comment, but I'm excited to hear about progress on Fountain Boulevard. Take time. Hearing no other questions, any comments, or do I hear a motion?
Looks like we might have a public comment.
Oh, public comment?
Tiana, you can speak now.
Hi, my name is Denise Neal and Tiana is helping me with her phone. My phone couldn't enter the meeting. Good morning. Denise Neal, I would like to know how I can receive said project list for Measure M's projects. Is there any way that I could obtain this information and communicate with someone regarding questions?
Yes, that's a short answer.
Yes.
But I think now,
Sorry, Councilmember. The project list is available on our Westside Cities Council of Government website, where the agenda and all of the attachments that have been provided to the members of the board are available for the public to review. So all of the information that we've just discussed is there, available on our website.
And is there a contact, email or phone number when we have questions about the information that we review?
Yes. Riley O'Brien at EstelanoAdvisors.com, and that's also on our website.
You said Ryan at Estelano Advisors?
We will get in touch with you. Yes.
Oh, perfect. Oh, Brian. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Having heard public comment, do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
Moved by Beverly Hills, second by West Hollywood. Can we do a roll call vote?
Yes. Beverly Hills.
Yes.
Culver City.
Yeah.
Santa Monica.
Yes.
West Hollywood.
Yes.
County of Los Angeles.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Moving on to item 3E, transportation related to the West Side Sub-Regional Bus Infrastructure Network. I will hand over to staff to present.
And Riley O'Brien is going to present on this.
Yes, thank you so much. Quick audio check. Can folks online hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome, thank you. So we have been working very closely with the COG Transportation Working Group, which includes the member jurisdictions, transportation staff. As you all know, in February, the board voted to approve programming about $2.7 million towards bus infrastructure design, and to work with COG staff to draft a request for proposals focusing on 3 corridors. Those corridors are on the next slide. Santa Monica Boulevard, west of Beverly Hills, the UCLA to LAX corridor, mainly on Sepulveda Boulevard, and then a line corridor from Culver City Transit Center in the south along Jefferson Boulevard, and then La Cienega Boulevard through Culver City, City of LA, Beverly Hills, and West Hollywood. We submitted our programming request to Metro, including an advancement of $500,000 to help with the cash flow to release this RFP and hire a consultant. And we are pleased to report back that in the May Metro board meeting, Metro approved that request. We're working with them to sign the funding agreement, and we're also working with the design working group, which is a smaller subset of the transportation working group that we convened for the purposes of this bus infrastructure design process. We are working with them to finalize the RFP. We're looking to release it. We're aiming for next week. So the packet says June 13th. We're looking more likely at this point at June 18th, next Wednesday, as our target date. We are also forming an ad hoc working group, which is another subset of the design working group, essentially the proposal review committee for this RFP. So the schedule is summarized here. We'll release the RFP in June. Proposal will be due in July. Board approval is expected in August. COG board approval, so we'll come back to you all in August with a recommended consultant, and then the notice to proceed. We're hoping for September 1st. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions? I'll ask one then. I know it's very late in the game here, but and the routes were chosen to maximize, I guess, ones that cross various jurisdictions. I'm just curious. I know that over Santa Monica Boulevard, Caltrans is expected to do a portion of that work. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe they have already started that work in that orange portion on the map. That is the Caltrans portion of Santa Monica Boulevard. They've already begun, I believe, probably installing the bus lanes on Santa Monica Boulevard in that stretch. And so our scope would not do any additional work, or at least as written, an additional work within that segment, but focus more on the city of Santa Monica and city of LA segments on each side.
And I'm just curious, are they doing anything similar on Wilshire Boulevard, or is that not that's not their jurisdiction, I guess?
My understanding is Wilshire Boulevard is not Caltrans jurisdiction, at least not on the west side. It is city of LA. There's a portion that's county of LA, and there's a small portion actually in that purple segment that is Culver City Route 6 that basically connects UCLA with Sepulveda Boulevard. So we will look at that segment, but we're not looking at anything under what we've submitted to Metro west of the 405 on Wilshire.
Okay. Thank you. So if I understand it, this motion today, the RFP is imminent, is that what you said?
Correct.
And this motion is to allow staff to form a working group to evaluate those proposals?
Yes, and to authorize the release of the proposal. Or the release of the RFP.
Got it. All right, well, with that, do I hear a motion?
We have one comment online.
One public comment, thank you.
Tiana, you can speak now.
Hello, Denise Neal again on Tiana's line. I would like to know if individuals are allowed to submit proposals for this project. And as a consultancy firm run by an individual, what credentials are required, if any, to qualify to compete for this project? Will there be multiple consultants or one firm? And how do we communicate with the decision makers if allowed?
So I can answer that quickly. The RFP the request for proposals, when released on our website and released publicly, will include those instructions and include that information. And I think that's all we can say right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the process of the COG, but I feel like public comment often is just that, and we can try to get in touch with any details about that meeting.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment, Peter?
That was it.
Thank you.
So motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by West Hollywood, seconded by Beverly Hills.
I'll take the roll.
Thank you.
Beverly Hills. Yes. Culver City.
Yeah.
Santa Monica.
Yes.
West Hollywood. Yeah. County of Los Angeles.
Yes.
Motion approved. Okay.
All right, item 3F. I will now hand it over to staff for the West Side Regional Behavioral Health Services Strategic Roadmap.
Great, I'm gonna pass the mic to Anna Flores, who's taking over notes.
Great, thank you. So since 2022, COG staff has been working with the West Homelessness Working Group, which includes each member's jurisdiction, to develop and implement strategy for regional behavioral health services. This also aligns with just some of the work of the Homelessness Working Group strategic plan, which one of them includes behavioral health services. So as part of this work, we've been working on planning a strategy for expanding regional behavioral health services on the west side. So through this work, we had a presentation from Behavioral OC Council with Working Group where we learned about some of what they're doing. And so sort of from there, we sort of shifted to try to bring in some type of regional behavioral health services to the west side. So in December of 2024, the COG staff to collaborate with the regional behavioral health steering committee and RFP working group to draft, release, and evaluate and allocate for technical consultant services. And so this work really influence and also derived from some of that the city of Santa Monica has been doing around behavioral health services. So the city of Santa Monica was working with a technical consultant to conduct a behavioral health feasibility study. And so Capstone Solutions presented those findings and recommendations, which included findings from the city of Santa Monica as well as FAR 5. And they presented that to the Santa Monica City Council on February 2025, and then following another presentation to the board on April 10, 2025. So with that, using the findings from the recommendations that were from the Santa Monica study, the COG staff worked with the people to sort of refine the RFP approach. And really this approach was really to build on to the capstone study, so building on to the findings that were considered from the city of Santa Monica. And so this approach now to work one-on-one directly with jurisdictions to identify and address data gaps, particularly since the study just focused on Santa Monica and Spot 5. It did not include the city of West Hollywood. So this is something that with this RFP, we will ensure that we are able to identify and address data gaps as well as in West Hollywood, and then in the gaps that may have been in that first study. And then the second component of this RFP is also to develop a strategic roadmap to build out services and or expand existing services, including tailoring some of those recommendations to each city. And then also considering and leveraging some of the opportunities regarding funding and partnerships. And then the last component is to sort of work with the consultant to provide recommendations on what some potential sites can be for a centralized campus-based safe landing model. So I wrote the original proposal back in the February board meeting. We had actually sort of included part of the implementation portion as part of the RFP. So I think we decided to do more for this approach is to focus on sort of the strategy and building a roadmap, and then including some of the implementation in this following phase. So in regards to the timeline, here you can see sort of the timeline for the RFP from the draft all the way to the release of the RFP, which was released on May 5th from the morning following with the Q&A period. Proposals were due on the 2nd. After that, proposal with the cost staff work with the RFP working group and steering committee to review the proposals that were received using the evaluation criteria that was established, which is also revealed in the attachment. And so after the review of the RFP working group, then we agreed to a recommendation. And so we to consider and approve that recommendation in today's meeting. We hope that we execute the contract for to begin in July. So just a little bit about the RFP evaluation selection process. So the college staff received one proposal, and this was from Capstone Solutions Consulting Group, which is also the technical consultant that works with the city of Santa Monica. We started with the proposal, which included members from the advisory and also jurisdictions to review the scope of the criteria, which is here on the table. So after the discussion, we received a score from the staff as well as city Santa Monica, and we did have a score of 7.5 out of 100. And so check that over 6% there was no objection. With that, we decided to move forward with the recommendation for CAPS to award the RFP to Capstone Solutions. So with that, I am happy to take any questions.
And the recommended action is to approve Capstone as the contractor, and second, to authorize us to draft and execute a contract with Capstone for a budget of not to exceed $100,000, and doing that in consultation with our legal counsel.
Sure.
Fairly.
So, I just want to have clarity. We had only one applicant.
Yes.
How was this distributed to the community? And why was there only one applicant?
Yes, and I'll defer Riley.
So we did release this, posted on our website. We shared it with the homelessness working group, as well as a larger advisory group on homelessness that we've had with close to 100 members of the public, organizations, city staff, and so on. Asked them to share it widely. And we did also reach out directly to several potential proposers, including Capstone. We heard back from one of them that I believe from Logical Outcomes, that they were less confident in their ability to pull together a team with local knowledge. So they chose not to apply.
That was the pushback or the reason why they didn't choose to.
Correct.
So that was the only other applicant, those two?
Well, they did not apply. We have not heard from any other potential applicants.
I don't know if there's other questions, but I have a feeling, I haven't thought about that.
All right, then we'll come back to that after questions. I guess, my question relates to what was discussed in the presentation regarding scope. First of all, just, in terms of various pools of money, is this, what form of stream of revenue or to the COG are we using for these particular investments?
So this is coming from Measure H, and you can actually see both within our budget and specifically in a little bit more detail in the homelessness strategic plan, which we're under item 3B in your packet. You can see more details about the revenue streams, but this is coming from Measure H funds, the sales tax through LA County.
So going forward, will that be a different stream through Measure A? Or?
Well, so Measure H has a sunset, I believe, if I recall correctly, mid 2027. So the timeline of this proposal and our expected timeline of any follow-on work is actually within the Measure H expenditure cycle.
Okay, and there was discussion of a scope of work where I believe there was discussion that we did really want to get to a point where we could have a real recommendation for programming funds. I guess that might have been referred to as implementation, and the recommendation was to hold off on that in this report. So I'm just curious, what is the plan to get to a more actionable sort of set of recommendations?
So if I may, so these will have actual recommendations. However, site selection and analysis is a particular skill set. And so we felt it made sense to go seek a different set of experts to evaluate potential sites. So it's the original RP, but these folks are really good at, we think the folks who can plan out the types of programs are different than a consultant that's going to evaluate appropriateness of various sites. So that's the follow-on work we anticipate happening after this work's completed. And this is all iterative, but we're going to be doing this in real time. As we learn, as a consultant works with all of your team members and our advisory group, we're going to get a sense of the site needs. So we don't have to wait too long before we can actually bring that second group in to work on it. And I would suspect, Mayor Nazarian, that we'll probably get a lot more people interested in that particular element of assistance. Right, did I get that right? Anything else? Okay.
My other question related to the sort of breakdown of costs in the proposal, where a lot of it was related to city analysis, and is that mean the city of the city of West Hollywood, or because a lot of this analysis has already been done, is my understanding.
So my understanding is that this would incorporate findings specific to the city of West Hollywood, as well as tying in drawing connections and potential synergies basically between West Hollywood and other jurisdictions, but also just taking everything a step further as much as possible in terms of getting closer to implementation.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, we'll start with the next, yes.
Thank you for the clarification. I appreciate that. I just want to make sure that we have a robust outreach, and it looks like there's still going to be more to follow after this. The recommendations are made, so I feel comfortable with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a flag, our City of West Hollywood recently conducted a study session on homelessness specifically, so we have very recent and current analysis of our programming that I hope will contribute towards this.
That is terrific to know. I mean, you noted task 3, it's 58,000. That's over half of the budget, is to really just work with your cities to make an assessment. And so if we have data already on the ground,
And very current too. Yeah, we just had our own analysis that we did, and so I hope that will.
And if I may add to that, as Chair, so obviously homelessness does not have borders, so we would like to offer our analysis that we also have. We have a very robust homeless outreach, as well as an apricot system that we utilize. And so we have a tremendous amount of data on any unhoused individuals in our city, and I invite you to reach out to our staff to utilize that as well.
We appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just add that it is my understanding from the city of Santa Monica and our staff that Capstone was an excellent partner on the work that they did for us, and I do feel confident that they will do a good job in further fleshing out, this resolution recommendation.
Need a motion.
Do we have a motion?
Move to-
We have one online comment.
One public comment, I'm sorry, can't really
Yeah, we
see
can-
that, but
Yeah.
apologies.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Peter.
No worries. Okay, Denise, you can come off mute.
Oh, sorry, thanks. Thank you. I work with the homeless community extensively. I've been doing so for approximately 30 years, but not once have I ever heard of this opportunity. So I'm not sure to what extent the outreach was executed. And since this group has already been chosen without any other submissions, I'd like to know if any other interested groups will be able to collaborate with Capstone. I'd also like to know if other community members, nonprofits, faith-based groups, and first responders will be able to interface, interact, and participate, or otherwise be allowed to collaborate in strategic planning with this particular group and this process. I'd also like to know regarding the site, if the site will be utilizing surplus land that's available, or whether they'll be building or occupying already existent facilities. I don't know if they'll be mobile. I have lots of questions. Is there anyone that can share that information and disclose or divulge anything to me that I need?
Thank you. Yeah, there's some details in the agenda, and our staff member Riley will follow up with more.
Thank you.
Thank you. I believe we have one more public comment in the room. Is that correct? Or no? No, sorry.
Not for this item.
Understood. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
hearing that, do we have a motion?
You have a motion and a second?
Oh, apologies. Okay, we did that already. Got derailed. Public comment is complete. Can we do a roll call vote?
Yes. Beverly Hills? Yes. Culver City?
Yes.
Santa Monica?
Yes.
West Hollywood?
Yes.
County of Los Angeles?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
All right, getting there. Apologies. Item.
Submission by staff, we're a little bit behind, so we're gonna have a nice, concise.
Thank you. Item 3G, Medray Local Solutions Fund allocation for the upcoming fiscal year.
Okay, we're gonna go with Anna on this one as well. Sorry, Lauren. Reaching out.
Okay, so I think I remember, Measure A was approved by LA County voters, back in November 2024. And this has a set, countywide sales tax to address homelessness, and the funding is meant to support affordable housing prevention, homelessness prevention, and retro assistance. And only 50% of these funds will be going to the local solution fund. So the local solution fund distributes money to cities, COGs, and unincorporated areas. And then here I have sort of the allocation formula was adopted. And in terms of eligible users, LSF funds being used for a range of eligible programs under Group 1, under Measure H, which are here under life, but this includes direct home services and permanent housing for people experiencing homelessness, as well as employment services that support housing stability. So using this guidance, the COG staff work with each city to develop a scope of work budget. Using the LSF allocation work that each city had. And so specifically, we work with cities of Beverly Hills, Culver City, and West Hollywood, given that Santa Monica will be having a direct agreement with the county. And so with that, this is sort of the scope of work and budget that we drafted. Most of the cities are working around providing operating subsidies for housing. And speaking with the contract partners to do so. So with that, we recommend that we authorize the COG staff to finalize the statement of work and pricing schedule for Measure A, as well as direct the COG legal counsel to review the forthcoming contract from the county, and if satisfactory, authorize the COG chair to execute the Measure A LSF contract. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Any public comment?
Oh, yes.
Nothing online. Oh, actually, Denise, you can come off mute. Denise, you may unmute yourself if you want.
Are we, so,
Denise, oh, just came up.
okay.
Go ahead, Denise.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. While we're considering Measure A, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that under Measure A, there's now an element that includes parks in Measure A, and I don't know how Measure A funds are utilized towards park land, but under Inglewood Oil Field and Santa Monica Airport, I believe that they're also considered parkland. Maybe it's including but not limited to, correct me if I'm wrong. I'd like to know if Inglewood Oil Field and Santa Monica Airport, being that there's been some possible contamination over the years, if they can be remediated, cleaned up in the interim time before the FAA control expires. Is there any way we can start remediating that land now to make it livable? I'd like to know with whom I should speak regarding the remediation process after the soil analyses and reports are turned in. Can someone answer that for me? Thank you.
So this particular item is pertaining to Measure H. We do have another item next related to La Casa, which is part of Measure A. City of Santa Monica is doing a lot of work on airport closure, and I encourage you to get in touch with city staff who are working on the airport conversion in Santa Monica. Do we have a motion on that?
I'll move to approve. Second.
Moved by Hollywood, seconded by Beverly Hills. Can we have a roll call vote?
Beverly Hills?
Yes.
Culver City?
Yeah.
Santa Monica?
Yes.
West Hollywood?
Yeah.
Motion is approved.
Item 3H, I'll hand this over to staff to present on the Los Angeles County Affordable Housing Solutions Agency.
Okay, take it away, right?
Okay, thank you, Chair. I will make this very quick. If we go on to the next slide. La Casa is also part of Measure A. Old Measure A was a part funding tax measure. We passed a new Measure A this past year to fund homelessness, similar to the previous Measure H. So this is actually the same funding source that Anna just described for the Local Solutions Fund, but it also funds homelessness prevention and affordable housing development and preservation through an agency called La Casa, that is the Affordable Housing Solutions Agency. And the Westside COG gets a portion of these funds. We found out right at the end of April that or rather at the beginning of May, excuse me, that the COG will receive at least $5.8 million in La Casa funds as an eligible jurisdiction. There's a requirement that a certain share of the funds go towards PPO, which stands for production, preservation, ownership. Then another portion of the funds go towards renter protection and homelessness prevention, and then some portion of the funds go towards technical assistance. The funding is available. This is all for fiscal year 25-26. Starting in July 1st. The agency is moving very quickly because they got this huge influx of funds from the November tax measure. And so they released a draft memorandum of understanding that would allow COGs such as us to access those funds. They want that signed by July 1st. So if we move on to the next item or the next slide here, I'll note that we are asking the board to authorize the executive director to execute this MOU with La Casa. And if we go back to the previous slide, I'll also just quickly share that the share of funds is about 3.5 million for production. We recognize it's kind of relatively low amount, but we want to be creative in how we use that. We've already started working with the housing working group around potential uses of these funds. And with that, we are excited to dig deeper into this and see how we can help make this support the subregion in more robust homelessness prevention. Our second recommended action item is essentially to use some of those technical assistance funds. You can see the about 350,000 for the next fiscal year. We just want to use a small portion of that to dig deeper into the funding landscape and the needs of each individual jurisdiction. We want to analyze this policy in greater detail, meet with each jurisdiction, facilitate meetings with the housing working group and with La Casa and with other external partners, including affordable housing developers, tenant protection advocates, and so on. So that we can come back in August with a draft detailed proposal for how to use the $5.8 million. We are required by La Casa to have a budget in place by October 1st. Our October meeting is on October 16th, so that means we really have a deadline of August 14th, and we are asking to program these technical assistance funds as a first step toward a larger portfolio of La Casa funds for the subregion. Anything to add?
Yes, so again, the two actions that we're recommending is one, authorize us to work with legal counsel to review this MOU that county has drafted. All the other COGs are reviewing it. There's some technical questions we need to resolve, but we've received robust assistance from the city attorney of Culver City on that matter. And the second item would be to authorize us to take $40,000 out of the very large TA budget to do essentially a 2-month sprint to work with your teams in your cities to come up with a really good expenditure plan for our call. We can't do it in 2 minutes. We need the next 2 months. We'll come back to you in August with a really good plan that everybody feels strongly about, including how to leverage some of the La Casa money because they're developing their own program. So our little 5.8 might go a little bit farther. So that is our recommendation.
Do you have any questions from the board?
Has this been presented to all of the city attorneys? Because I'm certain that our city attorney could be of assistance to you as well.
I will, Mayor Nazarian, I'll explain why we specifically turned to the city of Culver City. Our legal counsel has done some work with La Casa, our typical legal counsel, Lauren Langer's firm has done that work. And so out of abundance of caution, she recommended that we turn to another city attorney. We turned to the city of Culver City. We're happy to work with your city attorney as well. I would just say these are technical questions that other COGs are looking at. We're fairly certain we'll get it worked out. Things like indemnification provision. So, but we're happy to take, if we need help, we'll definitely turn to person.
Just offering.
I appreciate it. Okay.
I have a question just about the longer term use of funds too, and when this body will have a chance to have those more specific discussions. This will be an annual funding allocation, and I'm really excited to see, and I think it's wise that we use this for this rental assistance now when we have this opportunity, but that leveraging of funds, investing into bigger reductions, sort of being that would be my one.
And I do want to note that we've already had outreach from La Casa. They're looking at bond financing, how they might be able to help us provide a much lower interest source of funding. They're definitely an allowable use of setting up a housing trust fund, which is something this COG has been looking at. So we really want to take the summer to give you a range of options and work with your staff on that. And we anticipate the August meeting will be quite a detailed discussion.
And I have one technical question. I serve as an alternate on the La Casa board.
Not a problem.
I can vote.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
All right, quick questions. I had a quick question just related to the trust fund. Is that something that will be the work we've been doing on that will be considered along with this work?
It can be.
Okay.
This funding can be used to set up a housing trust and other COGs are looking.
Okay, and where are we in that process? I know we've done some work.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
we'll do
the
the
director's report
Okay.
where we are moving forward on another consultant to.
Okay, well, we'll hold off on that. Any public comments?
Yes, we have one public comment. Denise, you can unmute yourself.
Go ahead, Denise. There you go.
Denise, do you have a public comment?
Yes. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I would like to know if any of those La Casa funds can be considered for use to create in preparation for the major sports events coming to the area from FIFA to the Olympics over this time period. I'd like to know if an urban nomad program can be created in association with Measure A. I'd also like to know if there can be an expansion of the mobile crisis team in Culver City to reach regionally. I'd also like to know if the Civic Center can partner with RAND to, that area, if that area can be used as a homeless triage, drop-in help center to manage the homeless situation. And I also like to know if 2 multi-agency law enforcement substations, including a small homeless service station, can be considered at the hub, the transit-oriented hub of the Expo line, and at the terminus of the train where Pally High is utilizing the Sears building. Once Pally High moves back to their own site, I'd like to know if they can create a multi-agency law enforcement and first responder substation. They are centrally located to be able to manage large events and crises and emergencies in the region. I think it would be a good idea to utilize the Sears building for a strategic hub to be able to take care of all the regional issues right in that area for safety's sake. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from the board? Hearing one, do we have a motion to approve?
Second.
Moved by Culver City, second by West Hollywood. Can we do a roll call vote?
Yes. Beverly Hills,
Yes.
Culver City.
Yeah.
Santa Monica.
Yes.
West Hollywood.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
All right, item 4, executive director's report.
Looking slick. Mr. Chairman, your question about the housing trust is the first item actually in the executive director's report. As you might recall, we received REIT 2.0 funds, and part of what we wanted to spend that money on was to further develop how to move forward on the housing trust. SCAG's been doing that procurement. I make an appeal to anybody here who has any influence with your own cities. We need more participation on the contract review board, on the procurement review board. We only have one city that volunteered to review the proposals, and we'd really like to get some other folks on that. So we anticipate having that consultant team on board by July, and they're going to complete their work within the year, making us recommendations on how to start housing trust. I'm not going to go any further. Everything else is written in our report, and that concludes my report. Except for the call for nominations.
What you wanted me to?
Yeah, that's a bullet train.
No, we're not. Last thing is scaling economic human development committee. We're calling for nominations on that. The role is currently held by Vice Mayor Freddie Husa on the city of Culver City. Nominations are open. We always want to make sure folks know that from every city. And with that, I conclude my report.
All right, get your letters in by July 30th, it says.
Sorry, it's the vice mayor. He's not. He's not.
Okay. With that, do we still have Jeff here?
I'm right here. I tried to come over here because I thought if I closer to, there we go.
Talk to us quickly.
Good afternoon, everyone. Jeff here with the League of California Cities. I wanted to draw your attention to my report. Obviously, there's a lot of discussion of legislation there. I want to also advise you the very last page is a QR code if you want to make any of those links live, if you're just watching it here on the printed version. But I wanted to make mention of SB 79. Obviously, there's been a lot of things coming out on SB 79 from the League of California Cities, and I wanted to let you know that for the cities in this room that have supported SB 79, not against our Cal Cities recommendation, that is totally okay. I have relayed that information. I really want to hear that opposition to whatever position we are taking. I had a very lengthy discussion with not only our lobbyists, but our communications team about it. So I just want to encourage your dissent if there is any. But I do want to make sure you're not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. I want to draw your attention to a few, at least one bill that I really think could help some of the cities in this room. It's sponsored by Cal Cities this year, SB 346. It would help your enforcement and increase the revenues you can take in from the short-term rentals. I know most of the cities in this room have a hard time doing that. This would allow you to essentially audit, figure out where the parcel number is, so you can make sure that those aren't illegal units in your city and that you're receiving the TOT tax. Quickly, I just want to note that the budget vote is happening tomorrow. I believe my report may say Father's Day, they changed it, they're gonna not spend the weekend in Sacramento, which isn't a huge surprise to me. But I did want to call your attention to that. They do not have a agreement with the governor yet, so this is a very shell budget. They're going to be continuing to roll out budget trailer bills that will actually implement the budget. I suspect we will hear some sort of agreement with the governor in the coming weeks, hopefully in next week, so that we really have some substantial information there. I do want to make note that there is $110 million in Prop 36 implementation in the legislature's budget. Again, the governor has been very anti Prop 36 funding, so we don't know if he will try to take that out. He does have that blue pencil authority. And lastly, just quickly, we have a webinar on legislation during the summer recess. They're on recess from July the 18th to August the 18th. So we have this webinar on July 29th at 1:30. It'll help you and your staff get on board with whatever else is coming down the pipe that may affect your cities. And then I wanted to just make a quick plug, moving into announcements for our installation event on August 7th in Palos Verdes Estates. Of course, our incoming president, Rick Hopp from the city of Rolling Hills Estates, will be installed along with the rest of our board, including, of course, Santa Monica Council member Natalia Zernitskaya who is the West Side Council Government's representative on our board. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Item 6, announcements. Do we have any announcements from the board or staff?
I have one comment response for advocate in Sacramento here on behalf of the cities. And it was particular to AB 2446, which I think we're experiencing some challenges around locally in the context of what is sort of a local emergency. Last night, we had a Metro Service Council meeting that couldn't be moved to virtual. There's a public hearing. We're going into curfew zone in downtown LA past the curfew timeline. And I know we've always, each legislative cycle, tried to look at AB 2446, but I think we're in a new context that really allows for, I don't know, what would feel like a local emergency state to be declared so that we can make our own choices. So I just want to remind you of what we're up against, how precarious last night's meeting was for members of the public who were encouraged to come out for a public hearing, and this sort of opportunity we have to work together as local cities to really enforce local control in the places that matters most for that. So I'm gonna look that up. Thank you.
I really appreciate that comment. I will look into it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from staff or board? One public comment.
Hi, everybody. Perfect segue, because I was one of the members of the public that was online at that meeting, the West Side Central meeting for the LA Metro. And I've been an advocate of public transportation. I'm a rider. I use the bus, scooter, and a bicycle. And 5 years ago, I witnessed a stabbing in the E-line coming back to Santa Monica. I recorded everything on my phone. It went viral. It's in Google, so you can Google it. So yesterday at the meeting, there was robust discussion of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. And this is something that I personally have been discussing with the Director of Transportation of the City of Santa Monica, Big Blue Bus, because it is right to display the Civil Rights Act, Title VI, in every bus, in every train. And for some reason, there is a resistance from the City of Santa Monica in displaying a simple signage of the rights on Title VI. There was robust discussion also under Title VI, neurodiversity riders. So this is something that I have been advocating. Austin, sir, left, but I approached the office of Supervisor Horvath last year, and I advocated to do ADHD Awareness Month last October. So I've been working with ADHD and autism, and I'm part of the SALT 5 program from the Department of Mental Health in LA County. So I'm just inviting all your cities to talk to your Department of Transportation to display Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. It is required by federal government if you receive federal funding to display this. The City of Santa Monica displays it on the website. But some of the riders, and I tell you this because I'm a rider and I ride the bus every day, do not have access to the website, do not have access to computers, or do not have access to Wi-Fi. So it is just a simple request. And I invite the city of Beverly Hills and Culver City and West Hollywood to really consider this. I'm also do a shameless plug that I'm
Thank
running
you.
California Senate District
Thank you.
24.
Yes,
Just a quick announcement that we've got, that we're in the 90-day comment period for the Sepulveda Transit Corridor. We've got some public information hearings or sessions on the west side, one in Westwood on Tuesday, June 24th, and one in Culver City on Wednesday, July 16th. These are public information sessions. We've also got public hearings where you can provide public comment. Also in Westwood, Thursday, August 7th, and in Culver City, Tuesday, August 12th. And the 90-day comment period for the DEIR ends August 30th, 2025.
thank you so much. Our next meeting will be held in West Hollywood.
We have one more.
One more public comment, apologies.
Yes. And then one other.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Mackenzie Miller, I'm with AT&T. It was my first meeting live, 2 months ago. But I just want to come and reintroduce myself to those who I didn't have a chance to meet. I do external legislative affairs for AT&T. And I have the West Side Cities now. I don't technically have West Hollywood, but happy to help at any time. But also I just want to bring your attention to a legislation that AT&T is sponsoring, AB 470. It is currently back in rules on the Assembly side, and we're hoping to get it moved to the Senate. But there are questions about it as it relates to carrier of last resort and transitioning copper telephone services to fiber. And I know that there have been some comments that have been written, and there's a lack of understanding, and really just want to provide any details that I can. And then also I help with constituent concerns. There are a lot of those, especially due to copper theft. And so I do have them on your point of contact for this area to make sure that your constituents are handled quickly. Sometimes it takes a while depending on how deep the cut is in our manholes or in the aerial poles. But again, I'm happy to help with that. So just saying hi, and that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Sorry, I have a written comment.
Yes, we actually have one online on the Zoom public comment as well. So Denise, we will allow you to speak now, and you can unmute.
Somebody else can.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to know if for the regional early action plan, who is partnering and for what purposes? And for the Sepulveda Transit Corridor update, I'd like to know if you're working in tandem with SCAG and plotting out along with the planned bullet train, rail routes, public transportation routes, alternate strategic routes for truckers, such as those who do logistics, moving things, those who travel in trucks for commerce, and those who have to have separate routes for transporting hazmat loads. I'd like to know who's participating in strategically laying out those roads, and if you'll open the door for those who use them to collaborate. Also, I'd like to know if you consider working with Manchester Bidwell on global strategies for setting up some centers for workforce and opportunity to help with the community economic and human development aspects of what WSCCOG and SCAG work with, because they're on a replication effort and they're willing to help strategically set up centers to help you achieve your goals within an 18-month to 2-year period. And they actually handhold each city and the network of all their international sites become part of the network for us locally. The global strategist wants to talk to our power players, and I'd like to know if I can get some time speaking with both WSCCOG and SCAG to share this information. Thank you.
Next meeting will be in West Hollywood on August 14th. We'll now, we were, I'm so sorry. Okay.
Almost there. Okay, we have one written comment received via email from Walter Lamb, and I'm gonna read it verbatim. Dear Council of Governments members, I am a Culver City resident and I lead the Bayona Wetlands Land Trust. I am seeking to better understand what mechanisms are in place to ensure that public officials who represent the COG at meetings of other bodies, such as the Santa Monica Bay Restoration Commission, are furthering the consensus policy of the COG. In April, Santa Monica City Council member Dan Hall, acting as the alternate to West Hollywood Council member John Erickson, voted to strip terms such as climate change and environmental justice from the commission's work plan in order to align with the Trump administration's views on these issues. The justification provided that changing the language would not affect the actual work is not supported by the facts. This vote seems inconsistent with the COG's values. Thank you for any information you can share to explain how COG representation on other bodies is intended to be consistent with COG policies. Thank you, Walter Lamb.
Thank you. And with that, we will now adjourn the meeting at 1:27.
Thanks for your chairship.
Chelsea, you running out of here? So, already want to. Actually, like to.
I want to fight Duffy for it, you know? I went.